Pick something that matters to you. Immune system regulation, energy fluctuation, mood, attitude, focus, and we could show you good evidence strength training helps.
Are there any kind of myths that you see that keep people from strength training?
A ton.
You're a research scientist. You work with professional athletes, with amateur athletes. You offer a perspective that leaves no stone unturned.
When we think about strength training, most people are saying, it's not something I do for my health. It's only something I do for my ego, for my appearance. That is something we have been trying to break since the 1960s. We get a lot of the, I don't know what to do, like my exercise, my nutrition, my stress management, all these recovery tools and technologies, and I read these podcasts, and like, how do I integrate all this? It's just too much.
Yeah.
But the reality is, strength is your interface for the world. So when you see all forms of evidence pointing in the same basic answer, that alone should answer your question. For very beginners, all the way up to elite world champions, the one thing that is consistent amongst all these people, it is actually the practice of strength training.
What's your framework that you use?
Yeah, 3 by 5 is this. How many days a week do I lift weights? How many exercises should I do per day? How many repetitions per set? The goal is...
Wow.
So the philosophy is find those performance anchors based on your goals and limitations. That could look like anything under 2 umbrellas, what we call visible stressors and hidden stressors.
Where would you say is the best place to begin? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me for this special London edition of The Line. Before we jump into our conversation with Dr. Andy Galpin, can you do me a favor and subscribe to the channel? It helps us grow, and more importantly, make sure you don't miss a single episode of the show. Now let's get into it. Dr. Andy Galpin, this is such a thrill to have you here today. You're literally a hero of mine, in so many ways, just in terms of the rigor that you bring to your work. And, I think you set the bar for us in this profession in ways that are really important. And I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Too kind, way too kind.
No, but, I think, I think it's not often that you have someone in the space who checks all the boxes, in terms of having been an athlete themselves. You're a research scientist. You have published over 100 papers. You work with professional athletes, with amateur athletes. So you're a practitioner. You're on the applied side. So I think that you offer a perspective that leaves no stone unturned. So I think that's why you're so sought after. But obviously, so I feel really grateful to be able to talk about. We're going to talk about strength training. I really want to kind of focus our energy there. What is your, if you were to kind of say the importance of strength training, what would that mission statement kind of be?
What a question.
Yeah.
You can really, for the most part, pick something that matters to you, and we could show you good evidence strength training helps. And I'm a little bit tongue-in-cheek when I say that, but not really that much. If you are struggling with or interested in or working with people in mental health, you'll find a lot of information on the positive benefits of depression, anxiety, rumination. You want to look at brain health and dementia, Alzheimer's, same thing. You want to leave the brain entirely and you want to go into sport performance. That's an easy one. You want to go into physical appearance, body composition, muscle mass, body fat. The way you actually look, your proportions, how much muscle's in a certain spot, all of that. These are the pretty obvious ones. Ones people don't think about as much that are actually stuff I'm trying to draw more attention to because no one talks about bone health.
Yeah.
There is no greater way to impact bone health, particularly for women, than strength training. Immune system regulation, energy fluctuation, mood, attitude, focus. We could just pick, anything anyone would generally care about in the sphere of health and human performance. And you can show the fact that active strength training in small doses, in large doses, in different forms with machines, in group settings, by yourself and your home with barbells. Again, I'm saying that a little bit in tongue-in-cheek, and it feels like it's a panacea when I say that, but it really is one of the closest things we have found to benefit dang near every aspect of human experience and physiology. And so that is the short version. I'm happy to go into any of those in more detail, but it's just really effective for all things.
Are there any kind of myths that you see that keep people who should be strength training from strength training?
A ton.
Oh, no, right?
Just so many of them. And these range from the kind of classic tried and true ones that actually are important. I forget to talk about them because I've been in the field for so long.
Right.
But then you still have millions of people who haven't heard it.
It is wild, right?
You have a general myth that when you think about strength training, your immediate assumption is that's for muscle and only muscle and mostly muscle. And then the second thing that people jump to from there is, then therefore it's only about aesthetics. And some people don't want to get bigger. Some people actively want to be. In fact, I coach somebody like that right now. Very famous person. He actively wants to be lean. Not lean like you and I would generally think of, like lean or muscular. He's like, no, he does not want to look muscular at all.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
So something, okay, fine.
Yeah.
What you judge is like, fine. You tell me those things. So that's in the male side and certainly the female side. And there's that historic thing. And so that leap right there from, strength training just is only something I do. It's not something I do for my health. It's only something I do for my ego, for my appearance. Cardio, that's what you do for your health, right? So like that is something we have been trying to break for 40 plus years. And well, in reality, since the 1960s. All right. So Jerry Karpovich at Springfield, like this entire John Grimick and York Barbell and those guys like finally broke that initially, but it's still lingering in some communities. So that on its surface is a problem. Other like direct examples are the things like it's bad for kids. It is going to stunt growth. For adults, it is more that there are certain types of exercises that are good or certain types that are bad. There are things that, there are techniques that have to work. You should never do this. Women should only do high repetitions, or you shouldn't lift weights during a certain phase of your cycle. Or like, there's all kinds of, like once you get into the field, like a bunch of nonsense. But at the highest level, the general population, if someone's listening to this and like, they don't have an exercise background, there's still those people who are going like, okay, but this is like an athlete thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So it's important to remind ourselves, like sometimes we still need to educate the masses on the first basic thing, which is this is good for you.
All right. So let's talk about what is actually strength training. Because I think, we talk about, I think people think about dumbbells and barbells and, just very traditional kind of strength training, but it's probably more than that. So maybe give us just this broad definition of.
How annoying do you want me to be here?
Give me the classic.
Okay.
Give me the classic definition.
Okay. In general, when we think about strength training, it's really any structured, specific, intentional exercise that we're doing with the goal of trying to get physical strength. Okay. When people hear that, that generally translates in their brain to, I'm pushing additional resistance. I'm adding load to a normal human movement pattern. So this load could come in the form of a barbell or a dumbbell or a machine or a band or a chain or something like that. Kettlebell. Yeah, great. Like any of those things. Yeah. Obviously, it can also include body weight. A pull-up. Almost everyone will consider a pull-up to be a strength training exercise, even though there's no additional weight on that. A body weight squat. A push-up. These are just body weight, but we're still going to, because they're going to result in strength. High-level strength training for some people can be no additional load at all.
Right.
And it can be a barbell deadlift. It can run that entire spectrum. So it can be isometric. It can be eccentric. It can be athletic. It can be fast. It can be slow. It can be to a little bit of fatigue. It can be for maximum speed. It can look a lot of different ways. And I really think that's actually the reason I did that is to make sure that they were thinking of strength training more broadly than just, strength training is barbells and dumbbells and weights. And it's for young people in college.
Right.
Like, hold on here, time out, right? The old can of tomato soup lifting over your head is still strength training.
A gallon of water.
100%, right? Standing up out of a chair for some individuals is a really effective form of strength training.
Right.
So it can look a lot of different ways. What's key to that is saying, are you challenging the body's ability to move? If you are, and if that has load or doesn't have load, that's not the variable.
Right.
Because it's relative. Right. So if you're lifting in your action, your quadriceps muscles have to contract at 85% of their maximum ability. It does not matter at all what's causing that 85%. If that 85% is because you're pushing against the floor, that doesn't matter at all. If I were to put my foot on that wall, I'd press as hard as I possibly can and nothing moved. And I activated 85%, however we're going to define that in my leg, that is not that different than if you had it on a barbell.
Right.
From the muscles perspective.
Yep.
So strength training can look in really different ways if we think more conceptually about what's actually happening physiologically. Then that opens up our options. And so we can go, you like dumbbells? Cool, I'm in. You hate dumbbells? Cool, they're out. Oh, your knee hurts a lot when you squat? Okay, I'm not going to force you to squat then. How about this position? Great, we're doing isometrics. Tremendous. Oh, and you can fill the blank in here. Like, we should be able to find solutions, customize, personalize, work around injuries, work around preferences, or work with preferences, work around limitations and access and time and all of these things. There should be a way where we can get everybody access into strength training if we're actually taking the time to think about what strength training really is.
Yeah. So for someone who's new to strength training and kind of just starting out, what would be the place, where would they begin? Like, where would you say is the best place to begin?
I strongly encourage, if you can at all afford it, hiring a qualified, certified coach for 6 weeks.
The YMCA has really good options that are pretty damn affordable, to get you off on the right track.
You want to remove the big barriers.
Yeah.
Okay. When someone goes into a gym and they don't know what to do, it's really intimidating.
Yeah.
Remember though, everyone that walks into the gym for the first time is you. You walk into a gym, you don't know what you're doing, you're embarrassed, you're intimidated. Every other person that walked into the gym that day for the first time felt the same.
Yeah.
And when you go ask that girl behind the front desk, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm kind of scared and feel embarrassed to be here. She's going to go, great. You're the 34th person to say that today.
Yeah.
It's so much of a bigger deal for you than it is for those people.
Yeah.
So muster all the courage and just tell the guy behind the desk, I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't afford personal training. There's $100 an hour or whatever, but like, can you help me get started? They're all going to go, I got you.
Yeah.
Because they'd like to coach people.
I know. People love to help.
And then the girl sitting on the machine who's there 6 days a week is going to go, oh, yeah, let me show you this machine.
Exactly.
Generally, people are there. They're paying themselves. No one is watching you. Nobody cares about you. You feel horrifically stupid.
Right.
But nobody knows or cares.
No.
And everybody working is going to go, yeah, you know what? Let me show you how to use like 3 or 4 machines. Do this many reps, do this many sets.
Right.
And then ask me if you got any questions. Just grab me anytime. Like almost everyone is going to act like that. If you just use that approach of going, I have no idea. I'm embarrassed. And like, I don't want to hurt myself and whatever.
Yeah.
You can get really far like that.
Yeah. Love that.
If you can afford to get, a month or whatever. But here's what I recommend. If you do that, go that route to hire somebody, make sure you're clear with your goals. Because most people that hire a personal trainer, the trainer is being told, you got to burn them in the ground. You got to work them out. Like I got to leave here feeling like I did something. So the trainer thinks most people want to be pressed as hard as possible because they need to see results in 30 days. Like this is what you're taught.
Right.
People need to see gratification, retention rates. All the data suggests if you don't find returnable or return value in 30 days, you lose clients.
Right.
And that's right. So they're conditioned that way. So you need to let them know, hey, I don't care about progress for the first 6 weeks. I would love to focus these 6 weeks on just learning the right mechanics of every exercise.
Yeah.
I will worry about losing fat, gaining muscle, getting stronger after that.
Right.
But can you only focus on teaching me how to do every exercise right?
Yeah.
And I am willing and I'm giving you permission to not worry about my results for the first month. If I don't gain any strength or gain any muscle, totally fine with that. If I invest all that time in learning as many different exercises and how to do these programs correctly, and then I'll go do this thing really hard.
Yep.
That would be a way better use of your time, but you have to communicate that because your trainer doesn't know that.
Yep.
Unless you say, this whole thing here, I'm only paying you for a month or whatever I can afford. I can do 10 total sessions. Can you show me as many things about technique as possible in the 10 sessions?
Yeah.
And at the end, tell me, this still looks really bad. Just don't do this exercise.
Right. Because
this one looks
you
bad.
just don't have the hip mobility, the ankle mobility, or whatever.
Or you learn slow.
Yeah.
You're not athletic.
Right.
It's not worth it for you.
Yeah.
Here's this variation that's simpler for you right now where you're at.
Yeah.
And then maybe every 6 months you can afford 10 more sessions And you, after 5 or 6 years, you'll be safe, but you will have picked up a lot. And then you may just realize some exercises just aren't ever for you. Or now you can actually do something because you have some strength and you have some mobility and everything there. So that would be my recommendation for getting started. One thing I would recommend not doing is going to AI and saying, hey, will you write me a training program?
Say more about that. Yeah, that's what people are doing right now.
There's a lot of awesome things about it.
Yeah.
And it can be really, really helpful. I just don't think it's helpful for the person you outlined.
Yeah. I think a lot of people believe that they need to be sore in order to get adaptations. Maybe talk a little bit about the dangers of being sore in terms of continuation and just motivation and all the things that come with it.
Yeah, it's not the worst heuristic ever. It's not the best
Right.
either. Their effort has to be there.
Right.
If you're training hard, you're probably going to get kind of sore, especially if you're not 22 years old.
Yeah. And if you're doing a new movement, for sure.
If you're doing a new movement, if you're doing a new range of motion, if you're doing a new style, if you're doing a new implement,
Right.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb, 3 out of 10.
Right.
3 to 10.
Yeah.
4 to 10, maybe. 5 out of 10, I'm perking up.
Right.
8, 9 out of 10.
Yeah. If you can't sit down on the toilet without
I've been there.
pain, I know, me too.
You have to. It's like,
So many times.
when
When your thumb hurts, just this parts of your body where you're just like, what? How is this even possible that this is in pain right now?
my friends and my wife and I, we summited Mount St. Helens,
Nice.
where we live, and it's probably 5 miles total. I think it was almost 5,000 feet elevation gains.
Okay, 5,000. Yeah.
10-hour, 11-hour hike thing. I probably couldn't work out for 6 days afterwards.
Yeah. Just wrecked.
I was so sore.
Yeah.
If you're training like that,
Yeah.
you're going to be working out once a week. So the point being, new exercises, new things like that, get you too sore. So how sore do you want to get? You want to get some, but you don't want to blow it out, like you said, where you can't train again because you're going to miss frequency.
I like the 3 on a scale of 10 pain seems like the right. Yeah.
3, 4, maybe 5, depending on if you're okay. More than that, we're probably missing training or quality training, and
Right.
we've overshot it a little bit. All right. There is almost no relationship between how sore you get and how much muscle you'll result, like the amount of hypertrophy. There's the same thing with strength.
Yeah.
There's no relationship. Getting more sore will not produce more strength
Okay. Good.
at all. When you get to really elite levels, and we've had some people, and I have some friends that are, Travis Nash.
Oh, yeah.
I work with a lot. He works with a lot of our athletes for us. He's still a world record holder in powerlifting, right? He's probably 50-some years old now, but he still front squats 450 pounds.
That's wild.
He's just a monster of a human being. He's the sweetest little guy ever, big guy ever. Yeah. He will manage this in his own individual way, right? It's a little bit different. If he is going to go out there and train really hard, he's going to get sore because he's 50 and squatting 400 pounds in a front squat, right? Fine. But he knows how to manage and pull things back on individuals. So there's not a lot of relationship between those activities. A little bit of sore, okay, but that's not what we're after. We're after high quality.
Yeah.
So soreness is answered pretty easily that way. It's it's there, it can happen, we can manage it, but that's not the goal at all. Strength, though, should feel like effort in the session. We're not chasing fatigue. We're not chasing vomit and throw up and pouring in sweat, and we're not chasing soreness.
Right.
Those are okay for other goals.
Yeah.
Potentially needed for other goals. Some very specifically are needed. But this one is maximal effort for a small number of repetitions, a lot of rest, good quality, and then go home.
Right.
Why? Because we want you to be able to repeat that pretty soon again.
Right. All right. So for people building a strength program, you have come up with this really beautiful, simple framework. Why don't you tell us about it?
Okay. So I think what you're referring to is the 3x5
Yes.
approach. Great. I definitely did not come up with it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
I have popularized it, and Andrew continually gives me credit for it. I have to remind everybody, I did not invent this.
I got that from Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
And you really, I think I got to give that series a shout out that you did with your men, because it is just so masterclass. And I think for anyone who is inspired by this conversation, listen to that you go so deep in every single, you cover every aspect of performance just generally, but I think the strength piece in particular really masterclass. Yeah.
That was an epic. I think we did 23 hours or something in podcast.
It's so wild. Yeah. It's really good.
Shout out to Andrew and Rob, the whole squad of Psychom boys.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't meant to. I always have to correct that because then if I don't, you'll get 400 comments on your YouTube being he didn't invent this.
I know.
I didn't say I did. Andrew said I did. Whatever.
We can blame Andrew.
Blame him for comment on his post. So, it's been around for as long as strength training has been around. But it is a helpful way to think about it. So 3x5 is this. If you said, okay, how many days a week do I lift weights? Somewhere between 3 and 5. Right. How many exercises should I do per day? Somewhere between 3 and 5. How many repetitions per set? How many sets total? And how much time do I take in between each set? So we've covered your frequency, your intensity, your volume, and your rest intervals. We've also controlled for the number of exercises you do per day.
Right.
This allows you to stay generally within the power and strength spectrum. So this is not for maximal hypertrophy. This is not for muscular endurance, cardiovascular fitness, anything else. This is the number range that you'll see for speed, power, more specifically power strength. This also allows you to program for very beginners all the way up to elite world champions in strength and power-based sports.
Yeah.
So let's take and plant flags on every end of the spectrum here so you could see how this conceptually works. Because again, people love to get super mad about this. Oh my God, that's not even close enough volume. Yeah, if you do 3x3, that won't be enough volume.
Right.
But I didn't say you had to do the lowest possible thing for everyone. You do the, oh my God, this guy's never lifted weights 5x5 every day.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So sure.
Just parameters.
Right. Let's say you said I can do 3 days per week. And I can do 20 minutes per workout. Okay, fine. Choose 3 exercises. Do 3 repetitions per exercise. Do 3 sets of that. Wait 3 minutes in between and go home. Now, would that program give you maximum possible benefits? No. But you chose an effective program still. This would still work. If you are limited on time, if you're restricted, if you're new to training or something, this could be here. The other end of the spectrum could also be true. You're a savage. You're 20 plus years into your lifting career. Probably like you've been lifting like
30.
Closer. Dope, right? 30 years. Awesome. You might be able to pull off 5 days a week, 5 exercises, 5 sets of 5. That would be as much volume as you could ever possibly need if the load is appropriate. And then, of course, anywhere in between. So if you can train more frequently, great. Well, maybe you can go in the gym every single day, but you could do less repetitions. Or frequency is the problem with your schedule, but you can do a lot of volume. You recover super well. Okay, great. Go 5x5. Just do it 3 days a week. You can get a lot done. 5x5, if you're really lifting with intensity, is going to be a truckload. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is like 5x5 is really, really hard. So
do you recommend that for any athletes under any scenario or? Yeah. Like very experienced, especially powerlifters, weightlifters.
So we can do 5x5s in a short period. Now we're not going to do it for 6 months, but you could probably do, 4, 5, 6 weeks in the right person. It just all depends on the load and all the other allostatic factors that are going on with their life. The only other variable we didn't really specifically talk about here is the load. So the assumption is that you're loading that as heavy-ish as you can within that rep range. So if you're doing a set of 5, you want to be doing the heaviest load you can do-ish for 5. Not the heaviest load you can do for 1 and then try and do that 5 times. Like that doesn't work, obviously. But you want to try to go as hard as you possibly can because the goal here is strength development, which means you have to press hard on actual force production, getting closer to that ceiling. So I keep saying that word ish on purpose. You don't really literally have to be all the way up there. But you do have to be heavy enough to drive a stimulus.
Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about strength's impact on longevity.
Okay.
So would love to hear your thoughts on just the link between physical strength and aging. We've touched on it a little bit, but just go a little bit deeper on that connection.
The longevity field is interesting in the sense that, like, I'll never stop looking at it from the framework of being like, you guys are such dorks. Because so much of the stuff that they're doing now that is becoming popular, I'm like, we have been screaming this for 40 years.
Yeah.
And strength is a classic example of that. Nowhere near the lexicon for aging was strength until the last couple of decades.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, cool, you stole my thing.
I know.
All right, fine.
You're like, I've been screaming this from the rooftops for,
Well, all of us have.
Yeah, no,
right?
I know.
You have too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I know.
But there's a reason.
Yeah.
Strength span is a real thing. You can talk all you want about wellness span. This is strength span.
Yeah.
If you are not strong enough to move, you're not moving.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And the reality of it is, if you are 65 plus years old and you can't walk upstairs, it is rarely because your VO2 max is too low.
Right.
This is because your legs are so weak. Every step was a 1 rep max.
Right.
And you go do 3 or 4 1 rep maxes in a row and tell me what your heart rate does. It'll be pegged. You will be out of breath. But this will not be because your VO2 max is low.
Right.
In theory. This is because you're too weak.
Right.
Strength is your interface for the world.
Yeah.
Rarely do people in activities of daily living experience maximum heart rate.
Yeah.
But people constantly, multiple times a day, will experience maximal strength output.
Yeah.
Or really close to it, or a demand for that. So it's a way more functional, dare I say, thing to pay attention to. If you can't interface with the world like that, your VO2 max does not matter. Now, if you are strong and your VO2 max is poor, then that eventually will stop you. But you'll be stopped first if you are under strength.
Right.
So you have the actual capacities to produce force, and then you have the act and the benefits that come along with the practice of strength training. And they are related, but they're actually different things.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to be that can be said here. And we can go tons of different directions there, but conceptually, it is one of the things that makes the most sense in the world.
Yeah.
Even from the perspective of, if you didn't know what formal strength training was,
Yeah.
and you ask somebody who's old and frail, they would say, I want to feel stronger.
Right.
That alone should answer your question.
You mentioned leg strength being a really important health predictor. Grip strength.
Yeah.
We got a little
Grip strength device there.
in the lab. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little test.
Okay.
Okay. Not bad. 86.2.
Okay. I mean, you're right there in the ballpark, right, of what we'd expect for you, which is off the chart.
Why is grip strength important? And should people know their grip strength? Is that even
Yeah. So grip strength is
marker?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's helpful. It is oftentimes overblown, though.
Yeah.
It's helpful because
I blame the Canadians for that.
Yeah. It's helpful because it's easy, it's fast.
Yeah.
This is a cheap device. You just did a 1 rep max with no warm up, with no technical, it's scalable.
Yeah.
This is something that every physician can have in their office, and the nurse practitioner can check you in and go, all right, where's your weight? Where's your blood pressure? Check your grip strength. That's what makes the value of it. Now, like I said earlier about strength training, there is the value in the number. And so we can make the argument, all right, if your grip strength is in the bottom 20th percentile, this will have a functional impact on your life. You're carrying your groceries,
Right.
all that stuff. But if you're past the 20th percentile, you're probably not going to feel lack of grip strength. What it does, though, is it tells us about your general broad strength. And grip strength is, on the population level, a good prognostic and indicator of general overall strength. And so what we can see is that red flag. We can see you are really, really weak, around bottom 10 percentile. We can see you've historically been here, and now you're way down here. Something happened. That's why it's really important, because it is a scalable metric of all those things. Now, we can make and have made, we published these papers before, trying to make arguments that are saying it's more about, there's more than just a general strength program that this actually indicates. There's cognitive research behind, or neurological research behind, grip specifically. Grip is different than the legs. And your demand for motor control in your fingers is far higher than your glutes and your quadriceps.
Yeah.
And so there's a stronger connection to your fingers and your hand than that's the most dexterous part of your entire body.
Yeah.
So it has a different central component. In fact, there was actually a study was published just as a pilot study, but large population number here. And it actually found that grip strength asymmetries greater than 10% were indicators of neurological decline.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's another thing of being like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you are in a vocation that specifically requires grip on like one side, like a plumber or someone who's constantly screwing, then we actually would predict a pretty good amount of asymmetry, and it's probably not, cognitive decline or neurological. But if that's not the case, and you see, and we've seen this again in Optima a lot of times, 30% differences. Large, and we're like,
wild, yeah.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, something's going on.
This is actually something we probably should correct and train.
Yeah.
Get there. So I do think it's an important thing to train.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's like, hey, drop your entire program and just do finger exercises because you're in the 65th percentile. It's like, no, we're probably fine.
Can strength training slow the decline of brain aging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy is
good literature in this area and great research happening. For sure.
He's done that. And again, you have the benefit of the physical strength itself as well as the act of the strength training.
Yeah.
Is probably producing more of the stuff.
That neuromuscular connection.
I mean, actually, like Andrew and I had a really long conversation once about this. And then I did an episode on my show, and then he did one right afterwards on his show. Mm-hmm. And we took kind of different angles on the topic. But he, like from his perspective, and go listen to his show so I don't have to put words in his mouth. It's the arousal piece that has the brain protection properties probably more than just about anything.
Yeah. The arousal that's generated from strength training.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Such as to say it is unique. It's not, the same thing doesn't happen with caffeine, for example, right? Like you can get the same level of arousals, but it won't
type
have
of arousal that is,
bingo.
Yeah.
And then you have all the other benefits of connective tissue health and bone health and immune and cytokine responses and like all the other things. It's a worthwhile endeavor. But candidly, this is an area that is still being unpacked.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know, I mean, classic epidemiology still. You don't necessarily know how much of this is healthy user bias, how much of this is, like you're healthier because you're. No, we do, again, there is causal data. There are training programs, there are training outcome studies.
Yeah.
So this is not all just correlation stuff.
Right.
But the literature is not as deep.
Right.
On
the evidence
correlation, on a causation.
Robust,
Totally.
The causal evidence, yeah.
Well, with all the other known benefits, I have zero problem being like, go train your grip. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Is it ever too late for an older person, since we're on kind of that topic, to start lifting?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's a phenomenal question.
Yeah.
We have run training studies with 70-plus-year-olds. We've done them with 80-plus-year-olds.
Yeah.
And at this point, there was some data initially that suggested 80-plus-year-olds don't progress as well as 70 and younger, but then some other studies have found that to not be the case. So at this point, not only is there no compelling evidence that there is a time domain in which you can stop, the loads of available evidence suggest that is not the case. So you can and should train at any time, no matter when is the right time to start.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I think older adults are extra intimidated,
Yeah, but like, I don't know if you've ever done any like aging studies or been in labs that have done them. You'll never find a group of participants that are better to work with.
Yeah.
They never skip training.
Yeah.
They're usually like 45 minutes early.
Yeah. They're retired, so they're just like getting their shoes on. Yeah.
For sure.
At Drexel, we did some work with these guys.
They're the best.
I know, they're good. That's actually a really good point. Enroll in a study.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way to like.
Totally. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Great call.
Like, go do that. Yeah. And people are looking for aging studies all the time, and they're the best participants ever.
Yes.
And they follow every direction.
Yeah.
They do all the stuff and the reporting and the tracking, and they do it all.
Yeah.
And nobody drops out.
Very low dropout, yeah.
Never.
That's a great point.
I remember one time years ago, probably 20 plus years ago, I'm biopsying an older lady, and it's like, okay, they're old, and so you're just like, okay, you doing okay? And you're like, you're doing okay over there? And it's like, you're like babying them, right? And this one lady like turned and looked over and was like, I've had 5 children. And we were like, all right, I think she's good with the muscle binds.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think she's
All
like,
set. Yeah.
and that was like all she had to say was like,
Stitched up 5 times down there. Yeah, it's all good.
like, yeah, like this little needle in my little leg. Yeah.
I want you to settle this.
Oh, great.
Okay. How much protein do we need to consume to build strength?
Okay, I like how you asked that. So I'm going to answer this specific question. How much do we have to consume to build strength?
Yes.
Interpret my answer on that specific question.
Yes.
Minimal viable, I would probably say if you're in the neighborhood of 0.6 grams per pound,
Okay.
which is like probably right around the RDA recommendation, is enough. If the question was a little bit different, how much protein do you recommend? I would give you a different answer. If you said how much protein is the minimum amount I should have to optimize or maximize my strength gains, I'd give you a slightly different answer. But I'm answering that question very intentionally such to say, if you are at least at that level, you can build strength. If you are below that level, I think you are going to have a really hard time recovering enough to train enough to get stronger unless you're getting newbie gains. Like you're at the very beginning of your training. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
If you said, all right, I want to maximize my strength gains, I would probably say that number has to be higher, closer to 0.8.
Yep.
You know, something in that neighborhood, because you're going to train a lot, you're going to be frequent, and the protein is needed in some part for some amount of repair.
Yep.
Even though strength training per se for strength is not as damaging in the tissue level as, say, bodybuilding or hypertrophy style training, there's still some damage there. And then I would say if the other question is, what do you recommend doing? I would say closer to 1 gram per pound. Again, that is not the same answer though, because it's framed differently. And that was important because when you hear people fighting over this stuff, it's because they're fighting over different things they're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does the science say a minimum I have to have versus what do you like to do? Now, I like that higher number, not because it will result in more strength or muscle growth per se, but because as a dietary strategy, it has other advantages that I like. So again, that's another reason why people conflate that. They're like, oh, that stupid girl on the podcast said 1 gram per pound. And, you know, the protein expert said you don't have to have. No, you don't.
Yeah.
But from a coaching practice perspective, I like it because it allows for A, B, C, D, E.
Yep.
Other benefits that I'm considering as their coach, not just their protein synthesis scientist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Right. Right. And so would you say for longevity, is the recommendation more? Because there's some really high numbers thrown around out there.
I don't think from a pure physiological perspective, I actually don't think you can say 1 gram per pound is the optimal number. It is lower. The evidence we have suggests, again, like closer to 0.8 is probably enough. Now, again, if I was coaching you, I would put you at a pound.
Yeah. I
would put you at that number because of the other reasons. But from a what does your body have to have? In fact, I would argue that the evidence is like somewhat clear at this point that you don't have to be at 1 gram per pound.
Yeah.
That is higher than you have to have.
Yeah.
You can do it, and I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that's bad for you.
Yeah.
But that is not the same as you need to be at that number for longevity either.
Why are people advocating for so much more?
Well, people are advocating for so much more because they're conflating a coaching tool, which is true. If you have a really high protein intake, this allows you to feel full often. This allows you to then manage calories via carbohydrates or fat and keep protein there. It's a protein-centric and kind of a protein-forward approach, which is really good.
Yeah.
Protein has a little bit of a higher thermal effect than carbohydrates and fat. So you like caloric, it's easier to manage. So when I say coaching tool, this is the other type of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The other folks that are pushing back on that are generally coming at that just from the like, what does the data say on protein and muscle protein synthesis? And okay, or even longevity, lifespan, fine. but I got to get there somehow. And so if I say, look, I understand 0.7 or 0.8 is the number, but I like to use higher because this is how I like to coach people. Okay, but in fairness, people aren't saying it that way. They're saying you got to be 1 gram per pound or higher. Like, no, I don't have to be. I like it better, but I don't have to be there. So someone can be in a great spot for longevity at much lower protein. I would say we could argue if you're below 0.6, this is a detriment to your health.
Yeah.
Like this is actually problematic
Right.
for that goal. But if you're in that 0.6 to 0.8 range, again, grams per pound, body weight, that's really scientifically sound. It is very scientifically fair to say that, and fair to say below that is likely problematic, particularly as you age. And if you want to go above that, though, there is almost no downside to that. You couldn't argue a huge upside, but very limited. So if that helps you stay in your diet better or your nutrition plan, if that helps you stay more consistent, if you feel like you recover better from it because you're training harder than the average person, and most of these studies we're talking about are not on really highly trained people. So there's lots of context there we can add. But hopefully that is kind of like giving
That's a great answer. So I think if someone were to be doing kind of a 3x5 framework, 0.6 is the minimum.
Yeah.
And then just go how you feel. If you're feeling, kind of extra hungry, prioritize protein.
Yep.
And then find your sweet spot based on how much you're training and how you feel.
Yep. And what you like, what you have access to.
Yeah.
I was talking about this recently with another friend of mine. Protein is the hard one.
Yeah.
Because protein isn't shelf stable unless it's processed.
Right.
Protein isn't something I can find in most places. Protein's the more expensive thing to buy. It's challenging. If I need 50 grams of carbohydrate, I can find it at most convenience stores will have a couple of bananas.
Yeah.
Like I can find healthy options. What am I going to buy some like pre-made chicken breasts? Because it's harder thing to do. So I'm probably going now for a protein bar. Okay. Now like we're down the gradient of whole food and we're off there. Or I'm grabbing protein shake, which is fine. But some people don't like protein shakes.
Yeah.
Or some people want, no processed food. Okay, fine. So it's just more challenging to get to. So when we say like protein centric and protein focused, it's because you have to plan that one the most. We can figure our way into the carbs and fat like really easy.
Yeah.
Buy an avocado. Great.
Right.
Like we got you.
Yeah.
We can find some cheese.
Yeah.
We can find nuts.
Right.
But finding the protein source, you're not going to buy black beans.
Quality, yeah, it's
like
hard.
Even if we're talking like non-meat based sources, Greek yogurt has to be in a stored refrigerator. I can't in my bag all day.
Yeah.
Where again, I can have all my carbohydrate and fat sources in a bag all day, easy, and they're not going to go bad. So I think again, from not the physical but the practical side of the equation, you have to, if you want to be successful and even hitting those minimal numbers, you probably have to pay attention and make sure that the protein part is taken care of. And it's very easy to backfill the carbohydrates and the fat around that. So last thing is that of the 3 macronutrients, protein is by far the least you are likely to overconsume.
Yeah.
Like it's very unlikely. If I gave you a 99% lean piece of steak, like you're very unlikely to just be like, oh,
yeah,
3 more bites. 6 was so good, so good. But you want to fill in the blank now for that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be able to auto-regulate. Now, if fat is mixed with a ton of fat, like it's a ribeye, well then sure, you're going to overeat and be like, this is delicious. But the pure protein itself is just, of the two, most people are less likely to overconsume that. So again, going at a higher number as a practical tool allows me to reduce my likelihood of mindlessly overconsuming calories. And if I do, I can handle extra protein.
Yeah.
All right, fine. A little bit easier to deal with that way. So there are reasons to go up that are not just the straight physiology side of the equation.
Let's talk about creatine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
had some before I came over.
I know. I've been on the creatine. I've been hitting it kind of hard.
Yeah.
Especially when I travel. Yeah. I go up to 10 when I'm traveling.
Oh, that's not hard.
I know. Well, Yeah.
I thought you were going to be way more aggressive than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's baby steps.
I mean, if I'm really going to be in a situation where I'm getting really short sleep, then I'll go, up to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can go, like, people have
It's really
done
kind of unlimited.
Darren's done so many studies now, like 2-year-long studies in old ladies at 20 grams a day.
Yeah.
It's like totally fine.
So as it relates to strength training, if you're strength training and have, you're got a program, you're lifting 3 times a week, is creatine really necessary? Like, would you say it's an important part of that program?
Necessary? No. Beneficial? Yeah. So those are different questions.
So our body produces enough creatine for us to function.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I don't think there's a single supplement in the world I would ever say is required. You don't have to have it. You can live, even for a high performing athlete, we can get, if you allow us to really dial in your nutrition and we can get enough biomarkers on you, we can get there all the way with whole food.
Yeah.
And that should be the default setting. We should be striving to get as much as we can out of whole foods.
Yeah.
For a million reasons.
Yeah.
Not always the case, though. Sometimes we're in caloric restriction. Sometimes we don't have access. Sometimes I'm in meetings. We work with like a lot of surgeons.
Yeah. Nice.
They're not going to, like, they don't stop surgery.
Done a lot of
like,
research on
my
those
salad.
fats. Yeah. They're like,
This is not going to happen, right?
Right. I mean, some of the surgeries are 12 hours long,
100%.
And they go into the night, and they're,
You're on call.
Yeah.
You're going in different times. If you are a firefighter, military, if you are like in tons of jobs,
yeah.
like if you work a job where you're not the boss, you're probably not taking a break every 3 hours and eating. Like, so we just have like unrealistic expectations because we're so used to everybody working at home, and it's like, okay, most of the world doesn't do that.
Exactly.
Like you and I get to do
Yeah.
I can eat anytime I want.
Right.
Like I'm my own boss. Like whatever I can do during. Most people don't get that.
Yeah.
You're a nurse. You're like, you have no chance.
Right.
Okay. You're a teacher.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that happen, right? Okay. So, are they necessary to have? No. But do they make things more convenient in all those situations? Yeah. Is it more realistic? Yeah. Are they safe? Many of them, not all, but we understand now what safe supplements look like, what transparency is, what quality ingredients are. We understand the magnitude of effect and the benefit and contraindications. When people say this thing about like, oh, supplements don't work, I wonder if they can read. like, do you literally understand reading?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about thousands of randomized controlled trials in blue ribbon journals on supplements.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of nonsense in the field? Yes. And depending on what study database you pull from, you'll see anywhere between like 10 to 40% of supplements are tainted or adulterated or don't contain accurate labeling or...
Yeah.
Now in America, that number is way lower. It's pretty good here.
Yeah.
If you go to, I think those data came from India and China a lot. Like you see just...
they're slapping labels on...
It's wildness, right? But it's pretty safe here in the States.
Right.
For the most part. And there's still some again nonsense, but we have, informed choice certification, NSF, certified for sport. Yeah. There's lots of those things where you're certified, and most...
And NSF would be the gold standard from your perspective in terms of like making sure that or certified for sport.
Informed choice is good too. Like there's a number of these ones that are...
So if folks are purchasing supplements, getting creatine, you just want to make sure that it's verified.
Okay. This is a good point. I'll recommend a couple of things.
Okay.
One, the best certification programs, the ones that I just mentioned, all those acronyms, were generally developed for professional athletes who are going through WADA or USADA or other testing bodies. And this allows them to say if something is tainted in the supplement that's in a banned supplement list or a banned list, the athlete kind of gets off because they're like, this was certified and tested to not have that in there. This individual package, this ingredient right here has been directly tested. So you're way safer than if it hasn't been tested.
Yep.
Why I still think that's really applicable to all of us who are non-professional athletes is because that's still the only certification that still shows it's not adulterated, that the ingredients are dosed where they say they are dosed. There's no intentional or unintentional other stuff happening in there. And so this is a standard where I'd say, I don't care if you're an athlete or not, you still should be getting that athlete certification testing on your supplements, such to say, don't buy supplements that aren't. Just don't, because the risk of adulteration and other stuff is too high.
Yeah.
Contamination.
Yep.
And so forth. So apply that standard. That's like the best model we have. Supplements are FDA regulated. People say that all the time. Oh, not those well. Well, it's not nearly where it should be. But it's not completely free and open. There are some restrictions, and they are inspected, and things like that happen. So if you're going to buy a supplement, which you do not have to, as we already discussed, I would always buy ones that have NSF. That's the most common one, but informed choice and some of the other ones. And you can Google and put links up to like all this stuff if you want. Fine. Now, you mentioned creatine, so I do have to say this too. For decades and decades with creatine, we would always just say, look, buy it from any company. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because we're buying it from the same two places in China.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
Right.
This is the first time where your creatine choice does matter. We have seen a rise in creatine gummies. And the most recent studies on this have shown the vast majority of them do not contain creatine, or in the dosages at all that you think you're getting.
Wow.
Now, there could be some companies that have fixed that problem, but I would, at this point, strongly discourage creatine gummies. Unless the company you're buying from has shown specific transparent testing or something that they have, because I don't know of every single company. But that was something that came out. The manufacturing of creatine actually in that gummy process is like somewhat challenging, so it keeps getting broken down.
Yeah.
Which is an issue there. So pay attention to that one. The type of creatine monohydrate is the one that has the most research.
Yep.
That's the way to go.
Right.
So stick with that. The other thing to pay attention to is, and I have to disclose a conflict of interest here, but I work with Momentous. So I have financial ties to Momentous.
Yeah, Jeff's great. Jeff Pyers.
Jeff is phenomenal.
He's
the sole reason I joined that company.
He's a good man. Yeah.
Because they offered me for many years, and I was like, no. But he's very different. Some companies, including Momentous and others, to be clear, use a particular form of creatine called Creapure. There's only one manufacturer of that in Germany. That is certified to me 99.99% clean.
Nice.
The others are 99.9. That last 0.9 makes a huge, huge difference. They're getting from places, specifically in countries that I will not name, because it's not the right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What matters is they're getting them from demonstrably, and again, have been shown from third parties to be far lower quality, much higher risk, and much worse to get other things going there. So, again, first time we've ever had to say this since the 90s.
Yeah.
The sourcing does matter with creatine now. So make sure your label is NSF or similar. Make sure that it is Creapure, if at all possible. And then third thing I'd say with buying your creatine is ideally make sure it comes with nothing else. Don't buy creatine plus taurine.
Yeah.
Don't buy it with your pre-workout. Like, don't buy it with beta-alanine.
Yeah.
Pure creatine monohydrate.
Flavored.
If you want flavored, I don't care.
Okay.
Because they're typically putting like a little dextrose or something in there to bind to flavor units. This has been a popular thing. Momentous, I think, just puts them out.
Yeah.
Lemon. Add a little lemon. They're dope, actually.
I know.
I have a bunch in my room. But other companies are doing that too. Fine. You want to make it tasty, whatever.
Yeah.
I probably, for like a 2-year span, use flavored creatine every day to get me through all of my weight cut stuff. I would have it at night. I was like, okay, at dinner, and I would make it like a tea.
Yeah.
And it was like so delicious.
Yeah.
And then that company went out of business 15 years ago.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but it was like this. And then no one made flavored creatine for almost 15 plus years.
Back
like,
in
where
vogue
did this go?
recently, I know.
And now it's back. And I'm like,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So that like covers a lot of the material for creatine.
Yeah.
There's more we can say there, but it's great. It's really effective. And it's effective for strength for sure. Yeah, definitely recovery. Strength is the most demonstrated benefit. And now, of course, as you know, most of the research on creatine is now in neurological disorders.
Yeah.
It's in brain health. It's in traumatic brain injuries. It's
Even
in
protecting. I mean, for sure, your UFC fighters must load creatine, right? Like, 'cause it is protected. There's like
we
preventive.
use a lot of creatine.
Okay, yeah. I would think, yeah.
Yeah. We use quite a bit there.
Yeah.
But it's great. And you're also talking about insanely small side effects.
Yeah.
If any. Research that has spanned healthy to clinical patients. So this is not just something that's been done in young, healthy college kids.
Yeah.
Aging individuals. I mentioned, Darren's study, like these were postmenopausal women who took, 4x the normal dosage for 2 years.
Yeah. Totally fine.
No side effects.
Yeah.
Kids, pregnancy.
Yeah.
We're just yet to see anybody come up and be like, don't do it in this population.
Right.
It just so as close as a panacea as we've ever seen with supplements.
Yeah.
So I know people at this point are like a little bit burnt down on creatine, but there's a reason. It's because it is that good. And there's so much data from so many labs, from so many companies. You can't plausibly be like, oh, this is driven all by industry. We have 30 years of research from funded studies, non-funded studies, 100 different groups of scientists, all new students, all new faculty.
Yeah.
And it just keeps working.
It's overwhelming.
It just keeps working.
Yeah.
So at that point, you have to go, all right, there's something here.
Yeah. A quick message from our sponsor, Whoop. Most of us want to live a long life, but what matters more is living that life well with energy, clarity, and strength. The feature HealthSpan on Whoop gives you a read of how your body's actually aging based on how you're living, not just your chronological age. By tracking 9 key metrics like sleep consistency, strength training minutes, time and heart rate zones, and VO2 max, it calculates your Whoop age. Then each week it shows you how your behaviors are influencing your pace of aging. So you get clear feedback on how to slow it down. Over 85% of people over 65 are managing at least one chronic condition, but your daily behaviors can shift that trajectory. We built HealthSpan alongside the Buck Institute, a global leader in aging science. So if you're interested and want to try HealthSpan for yourself, head over to join.whoop.com/science to get 1 month free. That's join.whoop.com/science. You know that moment when you're in a hot tub, fully relaxed, then you know what's coming next. The cold plunge. Your body braces for it. That's contrast. And that's the whole point. That's where the Vigor Cold Plunge from our sponsor, Hot Springs Spas, come in. I use it alongside a hot tub to get the full benefits of contrast therapy, also known as hot and cold therapy. It's one of the most effective ways to boost circulation, reduce soreness, and support your nervous system. Heat opens up your blood vessels, cold tightens them. Alternating between the two creates a rhythm of stress and release that trains both your body and your mind to recover faster and respond better. The Vigor is their cold plunge model. It cools all the way down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius. Just 3 minutes can elevate your energy, sharpen your focus, and help your muscles bounce back. If you're ready to make contrast therapy part of your routine, head to hotspring.com/Kristen to learn more. So you have built an extraordinary business where you are working with many of the very best athletes in the world, but also just the regular Janes and Joes who are interested in optimizing their performance. Tell us a little bit about just the structure of the business and kind of who you're working with.
Yeah, well, actually, it's multiple businesses, so I'll confuse you even further.
Okay, yeah.
With all that, but in general,
I didn't know if it was under one umbrella kind of, or okay,
they're all separate companies.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have across all the companies, we work with athletes in every sporting organization, including full teams. So Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NHL, PGA, Premier League, Live Tour, the Olympics, Division I college sports in America. We have clients across that. In addition to that, we have some of the world's most famous musicians and rock stars and military special forces, government officials, Fortune 50 and Fortune 25 executives and folks like that. So we like to call these the world's highest performers. And that's not necessarily always just the sports people, but it is the people that are really having the most challenging lifestyles, and this could be trauma surgeons. So they're not necessarily just famous people.
Yeah.
When we say elite performers, it's the people that are doing really challenging, difficult things, typically high pressure,
high stakes,
things like that, where those are minus. So that's the clientele we work with. And this is spread across multiple companies.
I think the best coaches have a framework for thinking about how to individualize training, even in the context of team sports. And this is where I think, we really differentiate ourselves when I was coaching, is that I had a performance plan for every single individual athlete, that went across all the physiological and psychological domains. So they had like their own bespoke kind of programming. And I think that's hard to do because it takes time, especially when you have a team of 25 and you are relatively understaffed and resourced, you got to figure it out. It takes time. How do you think, because you are the best in the world at this, how do you think about individualizing programming? Like, what's your framework that you use?
Yeah. Our concept is several things. The reason me and my team and everybody that I work with and all of our companies can handle, we have professional athletes in probably 14 sports right now.
Wow. From
race car drivers to the world's #1 pickleball player. We have John Mateer, quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. Like we have, so these are 21-year-old athletes and 39-year-olds. We have a mid-40s golfer on PGA Tour.
Nice.
So we have like completely different sport demands, male, female, young. We have, 120 kilo body weights, and we have 45 kilo body weights. Like we have all this. So how do we actually find success in all these people? It is actually that approach that you mentioned. There are core things in physiology, and then there are sport specific. We don't do the sport tactics. So I'm never going to go to John Mateer and be like, you should read this coverage this way and check to this audible. Like I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't even do throwing mechanics.
Right.
Because
so there's nothing technical or tactical about it.
But what I can look at is anybody's physiology and say, do you have any performance anchors? And that's the phrase we use.
I love that.
This is the analogy of if you're driving downhill and you want to go faster, everyone wants to hit the accelerator. But the first thing we do is to look at the brake. Is your foot on the brake first? If your foot's on the brake and you hit the accelerator, you will go a little faster, but not as fast as you want for the energy you're putting in.
Yeah.
And you'll put more wear and tear in the system. So first stop we do is if you have any major performance anchors, the brake, get your foot off that. You will go faster for less or the same fuel, and you'll do less wear and tear. And when that is cruising and you want to still go faster, now we can hit the accelerator because we're not going to induce wear and tear.
What's an example of an anchor?
That could look like anything under two umbrellas, what we call visible stressors and hidden stressors. Visible stressors are things see, feel. You're unhappy. You're feeling really stressed. You smoked a pack of cigarettes. You're sore. You're like, you will know and see and feel these things. And
so things you're like very conscious of, very aware of.
Hard to not know. So hidden stressors, again, you're not going to feel them or see them, but they're having as much, if not more, of an impact on your total allostatic load than those visible stressors. This could look like anything from an underlying infection that you didn't know about, to a food sensitivity, to a micronutrient deficiency. Maybe it's not even a clinical deficiency, but it is not at the level where we need it at for the performance that you're demanding out of your body.
Right.
The hidden stressors is where we make our money.
Totally. People don't know it's happening. They can't perceive their own declines. Yeah.
They don't know it.
Yeah.
Or they know that they're like, I just can't think of words anymore. I'm just like, my articulation's gone, or my energy's way down. I'm so tired all the time. My recovery's shot. I don't know why. And they're doing the lifestyle stuff. I'm eating pretty well, or I'm eating the same as I always have, but I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
Like my sleep, I'm exercising, I'm doing my breath work and my meditation, my journaling, and nothing's changed over there. But
is that generally the people who come to you are kind of like, I know that I have more in the tank. I know I can be better, and I just want to I need to figure out what's going on. Or is it, hey, I'm already firing all cylinders, but I want to be better.
The other thing we get probably the most are things of like, hey, will you help me put this all together? I don't know what to do. Like my exercise, my nutrition, my stress management, all these recovery tools and technologies. And I read these podcasts and like, how do I integrate all this without being a professional longevity person? Like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And so what people like the most is us and our ability to go through it and say, based on your goals and limitations and your physiology, here are your biggest anchors. Therefore, these 2-3 things are going to give you the most return right now.
Yeah.
So
that's based on all the data that you're collecting. So
that's exactly
VO2 max. You probably have a laundry list of just tests that folks go through so you can have a nice baseline.
A laundry list.
Yeah.
Because our philosophy is to find that performance anchor. So what's that mean? I don't want to look at one thing and then say, try this for 6 months and come back. I'd rather look at everything right now. Anything that's possible so that I don't get caught up in false flags, false positives, false negatives. We can counter like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's... No, I want it all now. And then we can look and go, okay, this is over here. Don't worry about it because over here. But this is really the biggest thing you can do. So the most impactful thing you can do is A, B, and C. So the philosophy is find those performance anchors by doing a ton of objective and subjective testing, understand what we call your molecular signature, take that and then use that to give you hyper-specific and simple solution steps.
I love it.
It's the precision that allows our folks, because we have athletes, we have government officials, we have people that live on planes and they're running Fortune 10 companies and doing this like and then we have moms.
Yeah.
And not to say mom couldn't be any of those people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Totally.
Nobody has all day to do all this stuff.
I think everyone should have a coach.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because there's an accountability element too, but they're also like your blind spots. You know, I mean, the coach is going to tell you the things that you can't see,
100%.
you know? And
I have a coach for the record.
Exactly.
I pay somebody cash to do my strength training programming.
That's so cool.
For these exact reasons.
Yeah.
Like all those reasons.
Right.
When I program for myself,
you're going to do what's easy. You're not going to do that,
100%.
thing that you don't want to do. That's why whenever I work out with a partner and I'm like, okay, like the man makers, I'm like, fuck, like I would never program that myself.
100%.
So I think that's like the beauty, of, and I think that's like such an important message for people to hear. Someone like you, who's so damn elite, and has so much information actually has a coach.
Yeah, no, like I for years, I paid like kind of an embarrassing high number too, because I'm like, this is very important to me.
Yeah.
And he is better at coaching me than I am.
Yeah.
Way better at coaching me than I am. So he will always be in charge, or somebody like him will be in charge.
I love that. I think that's so important. We're going to watch John.
Okay.
His swing. So I'd love for you to look at John and just talk about how you coached him. I know.
He's a baby in that. You guys got an old one up there.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's pre his beard and all that. John's a monster. So John, Dave Phillips from TPI is John's swing coach. And then John has Spencer Tatum as his full-time strength coach. And he's got Dr. Harry that's on the road with him for his body and all that stuff. So his strength coach, Spencer, is as good as it gets in the entire field ever.
Amazing.
So it's nice to have guys like that on. And Spencer has been with John for, probably close to a decade.
Wow.
Since he was in college at Arizona State.
Wow.
So he has so much data on John, and he knows John so well, and Spencer's so good that, like, I don't even have to enter this world for John. Because he's his dial. And John himself is so bought in and so consistent.
Yeah.
There's a reason for years now he's, 1, 2, 3 in the world. He's won majors now. He's still dominating. He won Live again this year.
Did he really?
Yeah. He won the individual title again. He just won
the
Ryder Cup. Like he's just a monster, because of what John does.
Yeah.
And then Spencer's there and Dave in there, like to handle his tactics.
Yeah.
So we get to do the easy part. It's like the super fun stuff.
So for a sport like golf, that's very technical. Does he need to lift differently? Is his strength training programming the same as the quarterback at Oklahoma? How's it different?
Philosophically, it's the same. So if we were to say, Spencer, what are your top 5 principles? he's going to say the same.
And this is, you use the same ideas for men and women, right? Like
100%.
Yeah. So I think it's important for people to hear, because they think that the golfer and the football player and the field hockey player are all doing different things.
If you took my day, right? So on any given day, I didn't talk to John today, but like very frequently, right? I might have John, and then I might have this morning, I had John Mateer as well. We had a client, a couple of days ago, one of our clients climbed Mount Everest.
Oh my gosh.
He's not an athlete, like a normal business guy. And we're like, what? Wow. And we got him like up Everest, right? We also have any of our female athletes that just competed for world champ. Okay. I can have all those conversations, and then all the other people I'm coaching that never play sports in the same day. Again, why can we have success for that? They all have anchors and they all have physiology. So yes, men and women are not identical, but you're also still the same species.
Right.
We are still the same species, friends, which means a huge percentage is similar and only a small percentage is different. But that is the same. John is at that level as different as John Mateer. Both men, but different sports. So conceptually, programmatically, we're after the same thing. We're after progressive overload. We're after balance. We're after specificity. We're after sequencing. We're after proper timing. We're after like all these things. How we get there is completely different. Completely different, right? So Ben John's training program, he's a racquetball athlete. So it means he's a rotational athlete. His program is very different than Lance McCullers, who's a pitcher. And that's different than Walker Buehler, who's a pitcher. And that's different than John, who's different than John Mateer. These are all rotational athletes. In the case of, say, Mateer and Lance McCullers or Walker or some of our other Major League Baseball pitchers, you're still talking to throwing athletes, to right-handed throwing athletes. And those programs are still different.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's it look like? The individual exercise choices are hyper-specific to John. Why? Because Spencer has years of data showing which ones actually result in the most club head speed. And the most, so we know him. We have the individual responses for him.
Right.
But even conceptually, the foot placement might be different. The transfer of power is different. So we're going to want to prime that a little bit differently. John's on the course competing 40 weeks a year. Mateer is going to play 15 games. So the schedule alone, time of year means the whole program top to bottom, the entire year has to be approached differently. We can peak Mateer, and then we're going to have a break if he gets to the playoffs. We have like a month before we really have to peak. I don't get to do that with Ram.
Right.
Because the majors are spread out throughout the year.
Yeah.
And he's got the Ryder Cups, and then he's in this, and and John's going to compete in Singapore. Then he's going to go to Australia, and then he's going to compete in the UK.
Do you do all the travel, like the sleep and circadian rhythms?
Yeah, we do all that.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing for him, right?
Yeah, nice.
Mateer has travel schedule, but it's all in the US. Ben John's is all over, so you get the point here, right? So conceptually, we are doing the exact same thing, but the mechanisms, the exact protocols would look wildly different, even within two rotational athletes and two throwing athletes.
How important is it to keep track of your training logs? And what would be the best way for you would you advise someone to kind of collate that as a younger athlete?
My advice here is always the same. Collect the amount of information that you know how to handle. And if you don't, then just stay away. I would always say, like, I'm never going to show an athlete data that they can't action. Was kind of my principle for the athlete. Totally.
And then I think the coach also can have overload, right? So understanding how to think about the data that you're collecting and, okay, what can you action? What can't you action? The stuff that you can't action, you just kind of ignore. Yeah, look, I won't name names here because now we're like here, but some of the athletes and even the ones in the past. Yeah. I've worked with some who are in engineering programs at UCLA as undergrad students. They have very analytical minds. The only thing they care about is their sport. They don't have children, and they're obsessed with this stuff. So we track everything. Yeah. I mean, I worked with Trevor Bauer for years, and Trevor won a Cy Young. I started with him years before that. Wow. And I would bet we had 5 years of data of urine, saliva, blood every single day.
every day for years. I'm talking on vacation. He would carry on the plane with him from city to city to city, like ways for us to measure creatine kinase every day, urinalyses markers. Like he's carrying these things with him. We're doing maximum internal external rotation, finger grip testing. We're probably collected 25 variables every single day for years.
Oh my gosh.
Like HRV, yeah, sure, we got that. What do you want to know more about? Our HRV with what scenario, situation? Like we got all these data. You want to know his relationship between his Monday? You want to know his day 1? You want to know his day 0? You want to know his day 7? You want to look at his last 7 days compared to his 7 ever? Like we had all these things because he was obsessed with getting a little bit better. That translated in him having a good career to winning a Cy Young. That at that level, he was willing to put that stuff in.
Yeah.
He managed the data. He did half the coding for the software we built him, like himself.
Now, was he as talented as his peers, or do you think this is really what?
He was obviously very talented.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
To even get there.
Right.
But the data, I think, are clear because he played
Everyone is.
6 or 7 years in the majors about the same.
Wow.
And then a couple of years later, what I'm saying is I take all credit for his Cy Young, 100%.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Trevor or anyone else in the team. It was all me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, actually, I do think it made
a difference.
It made a difference.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he would have never won the Cy Young without it, but like it made a difference.
There's also a mentality too of like, I'm doing everything that I can to maximize my potential
When he
as an athlete.
didn't perform, it was fine because
He's like,
he would always like, I did everything.
Yeah.
I actually had, with the data were so good with him, we knew within a half mile per hour what he was going to throw in the morning for a night start. I knew what he was going to do, right?
Amazing.
And what happens with that is then the plenty days show up where you're not, like the data are not there and you're like, the data are there, but you're like, oh God, here we go. But then he was so good mentally of being like, he was a classic case of that empowered him rather than discouraged him. Because then he'd be like, okay, got to lock in more.
So if he doesn't have the ball velocity, does he create more movement?
Exactly.
I mean,
he knows he has to show up. He has to be more focused in his warm up.
Right.
He has to be paying more attention. He has to think, he has to go look at his opponents more. What are their averages? Like he has to win another way because he knows pure velo won't be there.
Yeah.
So me be more creative, make sure that I warm up more so that I have more control. Don't throw that pitch because it's not going to work in this scenario because it's not my best right now. This guy likes to hit a fastball. He's already good. So just don't go fastballs today with him. Or like he has to do different things.
Yeah.
He wanted to win so bad, right?
So what's the difference between the guy that type of information just shuts him down versus empowers? You know, like
I could give you 50 names of people who are the exact opposite.
I know.
Who we might collect one thing on them or nothing.
Like you see it in the background, you're pulling, kind of strings, but
we call it all off. We just cut it all off.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We track nothing.
Wow.
We take it all out of there because they can't stop themselves from looking.
Yeah.
So our approach to all that is always, if it's servicing and we're getting wins out of it, we will use it. If not, we don't. And if it's getting negative, we pull it out of the system as much as I can.
Yeah.
If we can find a way where I can collect baseline data and they can be out of the equation, I'll select that. But sometimes that process, like I have one athlete right now I'm thinking of, even like getting her to touch her phone for the morning or like any point in the day, if she opens up her phone, she's going to see an onslaught of text messages and DMs and other things that like when she's close to competing is like, this is too much for her.
Wow.
So then even if we wanted to do like, how you feeling today? Scale of 1 to 10. She has to open her phone for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all the other things, and she's just like, I just don't want to be on my phone for the couple weeks before competition.
Wow.
Like, because I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a huge win for us to do nothing. And I worked with this girl for years. And I'm like, God, I wish I knew this and this.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we had, but it wasn't in her best interest to compete like that. So like, okay, you got to walk away from it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it happens to different people, but it does happen and you should pay attention to it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about men and women and just the differences, because I think there's so much misinformation out there around strength training and women. Tell me, what are your pet peeves?
Okay.
I just threw you a softball.
with in the context of men versus women for strength training.
Yeah.
Like anything, the goal here in any public communication should be empowerment.
Yeah.
And I really want to make sure that's clear because this is a framework I hope this is interpreted. If we are giving women specifically information about strength training and it is restricting options, if that is a true thing, a helpful thing to do, then that's a great answer. If it's not, then we have issues.
Yeah.
So if we're saying women have to train a certain way or can't train a certain way, and you're limiting options when that's not true, this is creating challenges and barriers that simply don't need to be there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so what do we know? Well, I've trained a lot of women. I've trained a lot of professional female athletes, some of the best in the world, Olympic gold medalists, world champions in multiple sports. Certainly there's plenty of coaches out there that have trained more females than me, but I've done this before.
Yeah.
I still have many professional female clients right now. And at the same time, I co-authored a review article and meta-analysis just this year, where we literally looked at male versus female adaptations to strength training. So like I feel pretty good about the science there, and we've applied it. So some of the things that we know that are really clear: men and women generally progress at the exact same rate. Mm-hmm. And I'll say that again.
Yeah.
Women grow muscle at basically the same rate that men do when they strength train. Women increase strength at about the same. There are some subtle differences. You can read them in the paper.
Right.
If you want.
Right.
But the numbers are really darn close. Mm-hmm. Now, does every individual woman? No. Just like every individual man doesn't either. There are hard gainers. Yeah, but that's an individual person issue. It's not a sex
difference
issue. It's not a chromosomal related thing. So if that's true, we also know we don't have any evidence at this point to suggest women respond better or worse at a particular rep range. Mm-hmm. Or a particular volume, or a particular rest interval, or style. That might be the case. We might learn that eventually, but the data as they stand now suggests you do not need to program exercise choice. You do not need to expect different rates of progression, exercise volume. None of that has to be different simply because it's an X or Y chromosome that separates. That's not the important variable. Mm-hmm. There are a million important variables to determine those things, but that's not the thing to pay attention to.
Right.
And from our practical coaching experience, I would say the same thing. When people ask me this, they're like, oh, what's different between training a female athlete and a male athlete? And I'm like, it's the difference between training Bob and Tom.
Yeah.
So those things are frustrating because I go back to the original point, which is I feel like they're not empowering. They're in fact the opposite.
Yeah.
They're taking options away from people, telling them that they can only train a certain way in a certain phase of their cycle. If someone did that and found it useful, awesome.
Right.
All for it. But if people are construing that message as, oh, I can't do this right now, despite the fact I want to, because it's not good for my system, like that's not true.
Right.
Now you've taken options away
that
are not supported by science. In fact, the science shows the exact opposite.
Yeah.
If you look at the rest of the research there, in general, on a population level, women do tend to be slightly more slow twitch than men. So this may have training implications. One thing we've looked at in the past is things like taper and volume. Globally, what this looks like, and when you speak to coaches, most actually coaches do agree here, women tend to be able to handle more exercise volume. And if you're not familiar with that phrase, they can do more repetitions. They can train more frequently. They can do more sets. They can have longer workouts. They can run more miles, swim more miles. However your exercise is.
We're kind of programmed evolutionary for endurance.
For sure. But in general, if you just say, okay, we coach 1,000 men per year and 1,000 women per year. And so we're generally going to start our women off on a higher volume, and we generally start our men off on lower volume, higher intensity. That's probably okay to do. Now, you still need to coach the individual person.
You've been in this space for a very long time. What's been one of the kind of biggest highlights and maybe one of the biggest challenges that you faced in training athletes?
Man, I could go, there's so many. Watching Helen win gold.
So Helen is
Helen was a wrestler.
She's a wrestler.
Yeah, okay. Helen Rule was the first American to ever win gold in wrestling.
Wow.
Helen won gold, and she did it. Again, I'm going to get the numbers a little bit wrong, but you'll get conceptually the idea. Yatoshi, the girl that she beat, not only was Helen losing that gold medal match, so she came back and won her, but that girl, I think, had won had to be 3 straight Olympic gold medals. I think she had won like 11 or 12 straight world championships. So this girl had been beaten 12 or 13 or like some insane years. And I think she had like 1 or 2 total career losses or something. So icon of women's wrestling. And Helen gets the Olympics, gets all the finals, and is like, great, now you got that. And I was like, oh. And I remember watching being like, well, we got silver still. Like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we got here. And I didn't play a huge role in Helen's journey there, but I was like a small part of that coaching team. So the main credit is to Helen and the other coaches, to be really clear. That's an important thing to always make sure the right people get the right credit. But then watching and being like, okay, we're down 2-1. I'm like, well, she was competitive. Like, this is her first Olympics. She's young. And like, and then she comes back at the end and wins. And I was like, oh my God.
That's just insane.
So that was pretty awesome. Watching Tatiana come back and just win her first fight back.
Yeah. Okay. So when is her next fight?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So she just won a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And so now we play the waiting game. Could be 2 months, could be 9 months. Like we just,
I didn't realize that's how it works.
There's no schedules with the UFC.
Wow.
It's sort of random. Watching Trevor win the Cy Young with all the hate he had and all like the stuff going on was awesome. Watching John win the Masters.
Yeah.
Like these are like the bigger profile ones.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be more honest in saying this. Like I've had as much emotional connection to some of our people who've done just like really stupid little things that were everything to them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, like we've had clients who have sent a message like, I just slept for 8 hours.
Yeah. I know.
And you're like,
yeah,
this is the first time in 40 years that person did that.
I know.
And you're like, I get like as emotional now. I'm like,
I know.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We've had messages like, we had one pretty recently with a guy who has, when I say all the money in the world, I mean pretty much all the money in the world. He could do anything with anybody he wants. And he came back and told Josh, the CEO of Absolute Rest, that was the greatest Zoom meeting I've ever had in my entire life. After going through the data collection and the analysis at Absolute Rest. So you hear things like that and you're like, holy shit, like, like we're doing something special here.
Yeah.
And I can go on and things like that. So it's like sometimes the reward for me is the like, man, someone got their dream. I'm like, cool. That dream could be in front of the whole world, like John win the Masters.
Yeah.
Or nobody knows about Helen.
Yeah.
It was in front of the whole world, but nobody knows about women's wrestling.
Yeah.
But it was everything to her. And then everything to somebody else who's like, cool, I just slept for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I feel like I have my life back.
Right.
I'm like, cool. Like we just legitimately changed somebody's life.
Yeah.
And they got to experience something that they probably potentially wouldn't have ever got without you.
So rewarding.
It's the like the dopest thing ever. Like I'll never be tired of that road.
Yeah.
Ever. So highlight would be those things.
When you consider like what it takes to really maximize your potential as an athlete, what do you see kind of thematically as the biggest barrier?
In general, you have to be tough. You know that adversity is going to hit.
Yeah.
And you might fold in the middle of the adversity. Every athlete I work with, I could give you an example and they would tell you there were times where they shit the bed mentally.
Yeah.
They lost it. They lost their composure. They did something. You're going to do that. They're never going to be perfect. They'll give up. They'll quit. Everybody has that button somewhere.
Yeah.
It's then they'll come back and go, great, I still want to compete. Try to not make that mistake again, but I'm not coming back there. So another like similar question I get a lot is like, is there any consistent themes across your high performers? And this is the closest answer I can give you. Some of them are super disciplined. Some are not.
Yeah.
Some don't care at all. Yeah. Some try really hard. Some don't.
Yeah.
The one thing that is consistent amongst all these people that are the best in the world in their areas is when they do get tougher, it translates.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I can tell you to invest in that will directly and always translate into more success. The more tough you can get, I can't promise you more discipline. We'll get more. I cannot promise you following your training program better. We'll get there. I actually don't know if that's true, because then somebody might just show up and be better. But I can always say, resounding through line, when the people who are really tough got tougher, it mattered. When the people that were not tough at all got tougher, it mattered. So going up on the grit and toughness scale always goes up and translates. It always helps.
So the pure definition, just resisting short-term temptation for a long-term gain, is that the primary lever for toughness? It's
that. It is resilience in the presence of pressure. It is acknowledging we're going to take a step back right now.
Yeah.
You're going to get benched right now. We're going to get down regulated. Your pay is going to get cut. Like, can you still show up and compete?
Yeah.
You have lost. And the coach is going to look at you Monday morning, and it's called Tell the Truth Monday.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you, I don't think you have anymore. Can you handle that professionally? And then show back up? Or do you lose it mentally and quit and whine? Okay. The tougher you can be, can you get better at having honest conversations? Can you tell your coworker or your boss or your subordinate or your teammate? Or is it hard to tell the truth? It's like really hard to tell the honest truth.
Yeah.
And people don't get that until way later in life. In science, like, this is your life.
Yeah.
This is reviewers.
It's like so
We're
painful.
told beyond, it's terrible, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'm an athlete again. Like, it's just like you're just criticized. It's just like nonstop, and like you have to start from scratch again. You just have to go, continue refining.
From a scientist, it's that perspective, right? And as you get more seasoned, you learn to go, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can you get smarter. Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
So it's that, like, can you handle that stuff? Can you handle the thing in the media that came out and it wasn't true? But like, I feel like you just got to be tougher. Like, you just have to be tougher, and you have to show up, and it's not fair. A higher draft got picked and you are outplaying them, and they're going to go play anyways. They're going to get hired. Yeah. Like, you have to just be tougher in all sense of, and more mature. And there's probably different words we could put behind this, but I just, I'll summarize it as that. It's funny, like, for me personally, probably because I'm a kid from the Northwest and I'm an outdoor kid. But Cam Hanes is a close friend of mine. When he says things like nobody cares, work harder, for some people that it turns them off. But for me, I'm like, no, like, he's really figured it out.
Yeah.
And like, that's another way of saying the same thing. Is like, yo, I get it. It was unfair. You're totally right.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
And it doesn't matter. Like, it says nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, not only does nobody care, people are,
yeah.
But it actually just doesn't matter.
Right.
If Cam rephrased that, it doesn't matter, work harder.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, I love how he has it.
Yeah.
But that is, the reality is, in those, like, the world's best in all these individual positions, the world's best surgeons, the most high pressure military folks we work with, and all these things, the answer that works the most consistently is, okay. But you still got to go.
Yeah.
I do not care if you're jet lagged.
Yeah.
I do not care that this happened. Like, it does not matter. We still have to execute. We'll handle this problem. We'll pay back that debt. We're not ignoring it. I'm not just saying, like, stop paying attention and just be tough. I hope that's not the message I'm saying. What I'm saying is, the more we can just go, fine.
Yeah.
What's the problem? How do we resolve it? What's our action plan? And just, like, get to that part and then get back on track and get back to work, get back to our system. That tends to work the most.
Yeah. This is the final question. What is the next line that you're going to cross?
What a hard question.
I know, right? For me, like, the line is an indication of, I want to change something about my presence. There's a readiness and an engagement for what's next.
Yep.
And it's like my commitment that I'm gonna show up as the very best version of myself in that moment. So I always, like, the threshold of my door, like when I go into my home, is aligned. And I like so intentionally try to cross that line. And I know that, all right, I'm going to be present. I'm going to be engaged. I'm going to be all the qualities that I want to be as a mother. I'm like activating them as I cross that threshold. So, but then we have like these bigger lines, these bigger kind of, moments that we want to step into. So you can take it micro or macro, whichever way you want to go.
I mean, I guess my answer to your question would be right in front of me is the next line I have to cross is to get through this weekend.
Yeah.
And then get back home.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Is like, it's been, I've been on the road for a bit here.
Yeah.
In multiple countries.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of stuff going on. It is a like critical days at Vitality. And absent rest is in critical things. So we are like day by day in the good sense of like huge stuff coming out every day in these companies. And I'm like, okay, get to this weekend.
Yeah.
And then get home, play with the kids for a little bit. So get to this weekend and crush it. Do the best I can this weekend.
Yeah.
And then get home. And exactly how you described, like, be with them.
Yeah.
And then when they go to school that next day, like,
it's on.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Because we have stuff going. We are just starting a really large study in like 14, probably 17 days. So I'm like, okay, get dialed. Like it's coming. It's coming, all this stuff. So I have 3 or 4 or 5 lines that are in the next 2 weeks that are like really big things that don't happen every week, month, or even every year. And they just all seem to be culminating in the next few weeks. So I got a lot of doors to walk through in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
Well, I know you're going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just, again, I know I started the podcast with a thank you, but I want to say it again, appreciate all your contributions to this field, and you are transforming lives, and you've transformed mine. So I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate it, and I don't want to drag it on anymore, but I'm just a speaking head a lot of the times. It's all the people that work with me, all the people at the lab, and then all the people that are doing the actual work that gives me stories to talk about.
Yeah.
And then just being lucky that people picked me to be on the shows and whatever. I'm very aware that 1 million people are doing better work than I am that could have been on any of those platforms. But for whatever reason, I got picked, and grateful for every moment. So I thank you for saying that, but the credit is truly not for me.
I think it's why people love you. So humble. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, Dr. Andy Galpin is just a world-leading expert in what he does. So I think to talk to someone who has such precision and has so many repetitions with actual humans, and also has done over 100, peer-reviewed published papers, on the various topics of human performance. I mean, to be able to sit down with an individual who is truly a unicorn in the space in terms of his athletic background and his coaching and the scientific rigor he brings. So, I think a conversation with a person like that is enormously valuable, because everything that he's saying is backed with evidence, and I think more importantly, it's inspirational. If you are wondering if strength training has a place in your life, I think Andy makes a really good case. Strength training is important for human health. And, there are no snowflakes with this regard. Every single human being can benefit from getting in the gym, from, young children to elderly, right? There is a place for strength training in your life. And he makes a really compelling case. And I think most importantly makes, strength training really accessible. He gives you lots of different entry points, which I think is really valuable. So I came away just incredibly inspired, by Andy, and I know you will too.